there a ladder here? Why is there a ladder here? I think we all know why there's a ladder here. Greetings, mortals. And yeah, I think we do know why there's a ladder there. Am I right, fellas? Anyway, I hope everyone had a great time over the holidays and the New Year's. I apologize for not too many uploads during this time. For obvious excusable reasons, I will say that it is because of Christmas and the holidays. I was visited by my brother and his family, who came up to stay with us for like the week, but it was a little like off kilter, not off kilter, but like it wasn't exactly on Christmas, so I had like a second Christmas, and that second Christmas also elongated like into the new year and everything, so I had kind of a crazy holiday this year. Not crazy as in like interesting, but just crazy as in just like hectic. Like there were so many bodies, there were so many people, so many kids. Oh my golly, the kids. Oh my gosh. The destructive power of children. You didn't know. It's horrifying. It's horrifying. Anyway, that's not what I was going to talk about today, even though I could rant on about that equally as well. But in order to keep up the theme of space-related games and stuff like that, again, not really enforced, but I think I might try and do as many space things as I possibly can, just as like, I don't know, kind of like a theme guide, so I can come up with better, more topics and better topics. But today, I thought I'd, save the best for last, or at least until the next episode. But this is StarFox Adventures. I know. Hold your applause. Hold your applause. I see you clapping in the corner there, Timmy. Stop it. Stop it. Anyway, actually, you know what? Go ahead. Everyone give it a round of applause for StarFox Adventures. Because they made a game. You know what I haven't done? I didn't make a game. But, if I did make a game, I might have made it. I might have made it like a little better than like StarFox Adventures. But I mean, who's to say, right? Who's to say? Rare did a terrific job, in my opinion. The only, there was a lot. Ooh, we're gonna get into it here soon. There was a lot of things they could have done better, but there's a lot of things they could have done worse as well, honestly. But I think if we were to start, the first thing I want to say is like, Rare's a great company, They made a lot of great games, a lot of my favorite games. Banjo-Kazooie, no contest there. I'm pretty sure many of you would agree with that. But also things like Sea of Thieves they've created in recent years, which I am absolutely in love with Sea of Thieves. I think Sea of Thieves is great. So why did everyone hate StarFox Adventures? Well, I think it's because of there's like a issue of genre, and there's like an issue of like intellectual property as well. There was a big thing going on, and if you weren't aware, boy howdy, I'm ready to educate you on this story, because it is not really fascinating, but I found it particularly entertaining, so I'm going to talk about it. Plus, StarFox Adventures means a lot to me. I know last episode I talked a lot about StarFox 64 specifically, or I guess StarFox in general, but StarFox 64 was supposed to be the main focus. I might have deviated from something else, but that's besides the point. This episode is dedicated to StarFox Adventures and all the shenanigans that came with that. And boy howdy, I wish I wrote down a list, because I'm thinking of a million things. So I guess first and foremost, I should mention the fact that some of the intellectual property, or like, I guess copyright. It's not really copyright, I guess, because Nintendo bought it, but and owns it. But you've probably heard the story at this point that StarFox Adventures was supposed to be a game called Dinosaur Planet. which featured everyone's favorite fox lady, Crystal. She was supposed to be the main protagonist, using her magic staff and all her magic abilities, all the things you see Fox use in the game. I'm fairly certain that was going to be like a 1-to-1 right there. I don't think they made anything unique for Fox. She was going to have the blaster, the jump boost, the ground pound, the whole 9 yards. It was a video game, you know? And this game called Dinosaur Planet was really heavily focused on mystical elements and like magic and stuff, which I was totally down for if I knew it existed at the same time. But I was still down for it when it became StarFox Adventures eventually, but I'll get to that. It was seen by Nintendo, or the powers that be, at the time, and they were like, hey, you got a Fox character, we got a Fox character, how about you sell that to us and we'll put our Fox character on there and we'll make a lot of money. And then they basically did that, but I guess it could be arguable. I should have done a little bit more research before this podcast, because I haven't done research. Like, I'm trying to think like how much they paid Rare for it, or that whole situation is kind of foggy on me. I'm mostly speaking from anecdotal evidence and pieces of information that I've picked up over the years, being a fan and playing the game. So if I say anything wrong, please correct me in the comments. Let me know. You might be right. If you're wrong, I'll let you know you're wrong. Just the same how I want you guys to tell me that I'm wrong. I'll tell you that you're wrong if you're actually wrong. But if I'm actually wrong, please tell me I'm wrong. But yeah, so as far as I know, Dinosaur Planet was then converted into StarFox Adventures, and as far as I know, there wasn't too many changes besides like just character model swaps and a little bit of lore changes. But pretty much everything was supposed to be kind of like that, I think. That's why the flight segments felt really shoehorned in, because they were probably like a segment added at the last second, just to convert it after the game was made. That's why a lot of the on-foot mechanics feel a lot better. And I guess that's where I can segue pretty easily into the complaints of like the timing of the genre. Like, StarFox Adventures, I feel like, was at the very tail end of what should I call it? I guess platformer games, or platforming genre. Like, they were really popular back in the day. I like, if it wasn't on rails, it was like a platformer. Like, that was as open world as you got, was Banjo and Kazooie, basically. But these platformers were starting to go out of style when StarFox Adventures came out, I think, because after that, like, the Star Fox Adventures, that was GameCube, and try and think of GameCube games. How many platformer games were actually on the GameCube besides like Mario? You know, like Mario is going to be a classic platformer that like might never die, because they keep like bringing the platformer genre kind of back to life with doing different mechanics. Plus, they have a huge brand. Like, Mario's not going to die just because it's a platformer, but something like Star Fox would die because it's a rail shooter. And a rail shooter being turned into a platformer probably wasn't the best kind of transition. But I get why they did it. There was a lot of requests from the community that they wanted to like do a ground mission. Or there was like I don't know if this is true or not. Actually, I'm fairly certain it's false. That it's made up, that it's fictitious, if you will. But there was rumor when I was a kid that there was a secret hidden level where you could walk around outside of your R-Wing in Star Fox 64. And everyone loved this rumor. Some people would claim to have done it. Some people claimed it never existed. I honestly don't think it exists, but you know, there could be some weird thing, you know, there's a part of a doubt in my mind. You know, I might Google that later, see if that was actually a thing, because I'm just remembering this now. Surprise, these are recorded live. I don't do any scripting with these podcasts, so It's just me yammering on about something. In this case, it's StarFox. But I'm gonna try and stay on track here. I do apologize. My brain is very discombobulated right now because I got moved to another location for work, and I don't have a clear view of the door from where I'm recording. So I'm constantly paranoid that someone's gonna be in waiting for service, and I'm just dinking around doing a podcast. But so I'm getting a little distracted here, which is not optimal. But you know what? The show must go on. Show must go on. What the heck was I even talking about? So yeah, like Mario is a platformer that can't die. StarFox rail shooters were already going out of style, which is why I think they went to a platformer style game to try and revitalize StarFox a little bit. But I feel like it was like a love it or you hate it kind of thing. Like there were a lot of fans that were really divided on it. Like on one hand, it was finally another StarFox game that people could play, and also it had the on foot stuff, which kind of satiated that rumor that you could be on foot in the original StarFox 64 game. Well, I say original, even that's like the third game or fourth game or whatever. But anyway, in a nutshell, I think that's why the game didn't really have much of a well reception, because it just wasn't fun at the time anymore. I think that's why a lot of younger people liked it and a lot of older people hated it, because it was right on the line. Like if you were old enough to know that it was like just a tag along game that was just meant to, you know, appease fans temporarily until maybe, who knows, until Assault came out. Maybe Assault was being planned at the time. But I was a bit younger when StarFox came around, and therefore didn't have my own console to play on it. Like I said, it was on the GameCube. What did I have? I had an N64 when I played StarFox 64. I didn't have a GameCube. So what was I to do? Well, I was to get a little shoebox, write GameCube fund on it with like Sharpie or something like that you could hardly read because the design on there would clash with the writing. Anyway, and
a few moments later.
And sorry, I had to BRB. I know the last thing I said was "and," but I can't remember what I was talking about. I'm so sorry. This is a rough podcast today. I can already feel it. I can already feel the roughness of this podcast. But if you're listening, you're a real trooper. You're a real trooper. You know that? You're a real trooper. What was I saying? And something about Star Fox Adventures, I'm sure. This is a common theme in my podcast. I'm starting to think recording at work. Maybe for like shorter videos and stuff, or like shorter bursts and stuff, but I would like to record this for a whole hour. And at least in this current setup that I'm in, I feel like I'm like having to stand up a lot more just out of paranoia. Like I'll hear a noise, I'll hear people talking. They could be just walking by the store, but they could be waiting. And then I get all paranoid and I get up and I go check. So maybe I'll try and find a way where I can get a solid hour of recording done without as many interruptions, because I almost guarantee that will reduce the amount of forgetfulness in these so far. I mean, we're at episode 5, so I think we've come a long way, but there's always room for improvement, especially when it's improvement to the flow of the actual podcast and not getting it interrupted all the time by random thoughts. Speaking of which, I should get back to the topic on hand. I can't remember what I was talking about, so I'm going to talk about something else, about Star Fox Adventures. Generally, what was I talking about? Like the genre was a little too late. Like people didn't really care for adventure platformers too much anymore. Like that was really big in the N60, like kind of post N64 era, PlayStation 1 kind of era. It was really popular during that time, but after a while, it just became kind of like Halo and Call of Duty with the Xbox. And GameCube was kind of like trying to figure out where to fit during that era, I feel like. And so there was a lot of like combat-y games. I remember on the GameCube, like a lot of Naruto fighter games started coming out around then. I had a whole bunch of those, like Naruto fighting games on the GameCube. StarFox, obviously, Adventures in Assault. What else did I have? I had Sunshine, Mario Can't Die, you know. Um, but even Mario has had to do like different iterations of himself and introduce vastly new mechanics in order to keep the platformer genre alive. Like imagine if it was still Super Mario Bros, you know, just that 2D plat. Actually, there is like Mario Maker and they are still going pretty strong with that because now people make some ridiculous levels, but man, see, I almost get jealous. Like that's another Nintendo IP that is still flourishing. And what is it? It's like a middle-aged plumber man. Why can't we get the cool mercenary space marine fox? Like, come on. Come on, Nintendo, please. Actually, no, never mind. Don't do it because you'll ruin it. You'll absolutely ruin it. I know Nintendo would not do it as well as they did it before, and that's actually in large part of what I'm trying to say during this podcast is that Star Fox Adventures actually wasn't as bad as people remember. I like there's a big resurgence of people playing platformy like adventure games like on emulators and stuff I see on Twitch. And I feel like Adventures fits perfectly into that category. It's just like a nostalgic, somewhat difficult in a frustrating way, not in an actual challenging way. At times, but genuine, like I think it was a good blend. Like there was still some combat, like you would hit people with a staff, which was totally different for Fox, which makes sense because you should be playing as Crystal the whole time, which would have made even more sense and even more badass seeing Crystal actually hit the Thorntails and stuff with her staff, you know, do a little bonk. But instead we got the Space Marine who's trained in blaster fire and pilotry and G diffuser manipulation. We see him do the bow staff stuff, but honestly, I didn't hate it because I did martial arts as a kid, and one of my favorite weapons at the time that I was learning was the bow staff. So me flipping around the bow staff and stuff in real life at class or at practice or whatever you want to call it, I was always constantly pretending I was Fox McCloud. Still, like I was just like, this is my cool dinosaur staff. And it was awesome. It was great. It was truly fantastic. Oh my golly. I should mention that before I forget. When I was a kid also, since I was obsessed with the game, I made friends you know, who loved Star Fox 64, and they also loved Star Fox Adventures, mostly upon my request, because I was shoving it down their throats and I was super excited about it. But there was one guy who was really into it with me, and we would always talk about it, and we went to the pool together pretty regularly during summertime. I kind of miss that. I would love to just like have a pool membership, but that stuff is so expensive for no reason. Anyway, different rant. Me and him would play at the pool, and we would constantly pretend we were doing things from Star Fox Adventures. It got to the point. It got to such a point that we actually learned the dinosaur language and spoke it to each other. Now, if I'm being honest, I think we only learned some words, like hello and stuff. I can't remember anything now. I have to use the translator if I were to do anything now, because it's a spherical language. It's like a one-to-one to English, but they change a word or change a letter rather, not a word. So it's ciphercal. So you could learn it if you really hated yourself. And well, we loved ourselves, so we learned it. And we would like sometimes try and like talk to each other in secret code, like in dinosaur language. I can't say anything meaningful, so don't translate this. It might just come out to be garbage. But I'm going to mimic what it sounds like. Are you ready? Are you ready? I hope you're ready. All right. Et tu katin chimpam pichama chin pachita. Oh god, that just sounds racist. Oh god, no. Wait, I take that back. That was dinosaur language, guys. That was dinosaur language. That was no other language. Even if it sounded like a mockingly version of another language, it isn't. It's actually entirely fictional, and you're wrong. um. Oh my golly, yeah. I keep forgetting I'm on the internet. It wasn't supposed to sound like Chinese, but that's genuinely how it kind of sounds. Like it's like et tu pa chi pata ma chi, like things like that. You know, like I'm not doing myself any favors. Anyway, that was good times. That was good times. So Star Fox Adventures was a big source of nostalgia for me, which is why I generally don't hate on it, even though I totally understand it's not a good game. Like, I fully admit it's not a good game. Like, I played it again recently, and I actually enjoyed it, but I think I enjoyed it for the same reason I enjoyed it back then. It was Star Fox. It's the thing I love and I'm obsessed with, and you know, like I personally identify with the freaking Fox character, you know, so it's hard to not like it when you're so invested, when your ego is so invested or your identity is so invested that you'll kind of become an apologist for anything. And yeah, I'm not going to relate that to anything else, just Star Fox. But Star Fox Adventures was a fantastic game. It just kind of got the wrong place, wrong time treatment. It fell into obscurity rather quickly. Mostly, I think even because of Star Fox Assault. Like, the Star Fox Assault was just so much better than Adventures that I think that's what made people like ultimately forget completely about Adventures, because they're just like, oh, that was that kind of like half filler game that they made. But Assault was like a genuine like Star Fox game, and that's amazing. I'll probably end up making episode 6 about Star Fox Assault, so I'm probably not going to talk about it too much here. I actually should step on back to Star Fox Adventures. I feel like I'm talking really quickly. Like for some reason, if I talk faster, the podcast will end sooner. And that's a weird feeling because I don't necessarily want the podcast to end sooner. But I am kind of recording it a little late. A little late. I might have to close the store mid podcast. I meant to do it earlier, but because of the new location, it took me a minute to set everything up again. And get the motivation. You know, I had to do myself this whole pep talk, and you know, I had to like punch a wall. I had to cry for 45 minutes. Anyway, but we're here, and we're doing it. And I've talked very little about Star Fox Adventures, I feel like, but you know, I'm looking at the recording, and despite all my interruptions so far that I've kind of given myself, hopefully the editing is good, and I've hidden a lot of the cuts and breaks, but I assure you, there's been quite a few cuts and breaks. If it's at 25 minutes now, look at the timestamp now, and you'll see roughly how many things I've had to cut out so far. Maybe it's not that many, and I'm just being melodramatic. And I think I'm still being melodramatic. I'm not even talking about Star Fox. Why can't I talk about Star Fox? It's all I could do at one point, and now I'm like struggling to talk about Star Fox. Anyway, let's not rush our points. All right, let's not rush them. Let's talk about some of the things that Star Fox Adventures did well. I think the on foot mechanic was great for the time because it was kind of a requested feature of the game. People wanted to walk around outside the Arwing ship, which is insane to really think about because I just got Elite Dangerous or got into Elite Dangerous again. Except this time I purchased the Odyssey DLC, and if you haven't listened to the Elite Dangerous podcast, go check it out. Because I probably talk about it a lot more in depth. But Elite Dangerous just came out with like on foot stuff. Like, you can get out of your ship and walk around now, but you still can't even walk inside your ship. Which is a point of contention. But, I mean, just think about, like, when Star Fox Adventures came out. Actually, I'm gonna Google... I got my laptop here. I don't know why I'm not Googling things. Jamie, pull up the bear punching the Star Fox.
Oh, look, a bear! Ah!
Oh my god. Oh my god. You guys want to feel old? Or if you guys want to know how old I am? Star Fox Adventures came out in 2002. What? Actually, what? Is that real? 2002? No way. No way, dude. 2002. Holy heck. When did Star Fox 64 come out? I know it was the 90s.
A few moments later.
Yeah, 1997 for Star Fox 64. That's insane. It's 2023 right now, guys. Or actually, no, I lied. It's the third. It's 2024. Even. My golly. Time flies when you're having fun. And I'm still talking about Star Fox Adventures, and it came out in 2002. Ugh. That's why it feels like beyond forever. Like, I am really struggling to try and conjure up this memory. Like, I probably should write down notes again, because that's what I did for Star Fox 64 episode, I think. I think also the Ahsoka rant on Star Wars that I did, I wrote down notes, and that really did help me keep on track. I thought I could just wing it this time because I knew Star Fox Adventures so well, but I am not winging it, guys. I am not winging it. This is awful. I apologize for your viewing experience. 2002. Holy heck. No, that checks out. I would be like 6 or 7, I think. 6 or 7 years old. Which, that kind of checks out. I did say I was like part of the younger generation that played Star Fox Adventures, and I think that's why I kind of retained a lot of the goodness from it, because I still had the childlike wonder sparkling in my eyes before it was all ripped away horribly by 4chan. Yeah, wow. Sorry, I'm just devastated about how old I am right now. I when I was looking that up, I thought like I was gonna see 2007, 2008, 2009 maybe. No, that wouldn't make sense either. I'd be in like high school or whatever. Or oh my gosh, I'm old. Anyway, no, yeah, Star Fox Adventures was pretty good. I think it would have been better if it remained as a Dinosaur Planet and we had the protagonist Crystal, and that's not because I'm a furry, but that's because I think the genuine vision was supposed to be more magic based, and they kind of gutted that to try and shoehorn in Fox and the crew into making it like, oh, Dinosaur Planet's just falling apart. The general hired us to fix it. It's like, that's not what mercenaries do. You know, like Star Fox is a mercenary gang. Like, they come in and they stop wars, like, or they'll fight in a war. Normally, they're the Spec Ops team, you know, like, they're the SEAL Team 6 of the Lilat system. They were hired to take out Andross, and they basically traveled the entire solar system within, like, a day or whatever, thanks to the G diffusers, which normally it took them a lot longer to colonize their Lilat system. And Venom was, like, the place that they excommunicated and banished people to because it was the furthest planet out. It was the equivalent Pluto, essentially. Even though the game map doesn't really look like that, I think there is an official Lilat system map you can look at. And Venom is obviously the furthest one away, which is interesting from an astrological standpoint because it had an atmosphere and also was pretty huge and had life on it. So being that far from the Goldilocks zone, I'm getting a little carried away here, but that's an interesting thought I just had. I hadn't thought about Venom like that before, but anyway, using the G diffuser, they hop from planet to planet, thwarting Andross, and they take him out. Like, they are the Spec Ops unit, is my point. So why would they be hired to just go like put a planet back together after it's falling apart? Like that didn't make a whole lot of sense to me, and I didn't get a whole lot of impetus from it. Other than the fact that the general's just like, hey, I'm paying you for this. Go do it. Like, I guess that's all the impetus a mercenary really needs, right? You just, hey, you're gonna pay me? All right, let's go do it. I like how in the beginning it's almost implied that they were really dry. They were coming up with less and less work after they stopped Andros, which is cool, kind of cool because it means they saved the Lilat system genuinely, and they almost put themselves out of a job. Could you imagine like the heroes doing so well that they actually aren't needed anymore, and they end up becoming bums, and they become hobos, essentially space hobos. That's kind of what they were in the beginning of StarFox Adventures, and then they finally got this gig. So I guess, you know, if anything came across their table, they might as well take it. It was paying work. So fixing a planet, kind of an odd request, but all right. You know, I think it would have made more sense if Crystal, who was a shaman, who was a mystic kind of character, who was a, you know, already a magician, set up to be a magician, magic user, sorry, mage. So it made less sense using Fox, but you know, I think they were hoping on nobody thinking about it too hard, and here I am thinking about it way too hard. Exactly.
A few moments later.
All right, back again. I just closed down the store. So hopefully I can actually focus and keep a train of thought going here for once. My golly. It would have worked a lot better with using Crystal as the main character, because, you know, she had more of a leg in the race. Which is really a shame that they just turned her into a damsel in distress, because she was probably going to be one of those like strong female pro tags that everyone loves nowadays. By everyone I mean mostly like Disney and media and stuff like that. If you love them, that's fine. That's perfectly. That's not what I mean. I mean everyone is really pushing the strong female character. Pushing that out into different movies and stuff like that, almost like it's gonna get them brownie points, but then they don't actually like make any statements about being a strong woman, you know? Like that's my point, is like Crystal would have been a great strong female pro tag that ain't no need no man. And I think they tried to do that slightly in StarFox Command, but it totally backfired because she just turned into like just a total like evil version of herself. Like I'm not even gonna like call her a name or anything like that. Like she just became just a totally different character. She like broke like in Command. Oh, I should make a whole video on Command. I probably shouldn't say too much because Command pisses me off. StarFox Command, horrible game. Horrible game. Mostly because of the writing. And if you follow me, there's one thing you'll begin to notice, and that is that I am really, really, really all about that story and that base. But story is key. Story is number one for me. If you have a bad story, I don't feel motivated to like do anything. Like there's some people that are good with the gameplay, and that's fine and dandy, you know, like if a good game, and me too, you know, like if I find a game with a solid gameplay and I just enjoy the gameplay loop, I could care less about the story, you know, so I can totally understand that perspective. But if I really like that good gameplay game, I would rather it have a good story with it. Like that's just a bonus. But if it's a bad gameplay game and you have a bad story, I can't tolerate your bad game. I'm sorry. It's not gonna happen. Starfield. Anyway, sorry, I got possessed there for a second. I don't know what happened. I'm back now though. Or am I? I don't know. I'm very forgetful. I'm very forgetful this podcast. If I had, you know, that notepad really helped. I didn't realize my ADHD would be this bad. So welcome to the ADHD podcast, where I'll forget what I'm talking about, get distracted, and not have a cohesive thought for the life of me. Quite a shame. Quite a shame. Honestly, okay. What all do I really want to say about StarFox Adventures, right? What do I really want to say? I want to say that StarFox Adventures gave us our blue furry waifu, the Lordess we love and trust, pray to every night. It did give us another StarFox game for the time. The gameplay wasn't all that bad. I know people didn't really like the genre at the time, like I said earlier in the podcast, but I think it did a good job at that genre. Mostly because it was towards the end of that genre's lifespan. So I think they were doing a lot of things right by that time instead of wrong. And they even improved even more with Star Fox Assault. Star Fox Assault's ground missions felt like a Star Fox game. They felt way better and felt more appropriate too. Like you actually brought guns, you brought different equipment, you had an objective that was normally destroy this thing or plant a bomb on this thing or kill this thing, like there was always like an objective like that, like an action-oriented objective. In Star Fox Adventures, there were a lot of like quests that just didn't make any sense for Fox McCloud to do. Like, I remember being so confused as to what to do because I was thinking more like Fox than I was thinking like Crystal. I was like, okay, where do I go? Who do I beat up? Like I got this staff now. Who do I beat up? Like, and I just ran everywhere. I couldn't progress the game. I just got stuck. I didn't know where to go. And it turns out through some Googling at the time, my first time playthrough, I think I had Google at the time. Maybe not. Wait, how old is Google? Hold on. I gotta Google how old is Google.
A few moments later.
Okay, Google was out. It came out in 1998. That's also insane. Google's also really old. Anyway, yeah, so I eventually Googled it, I think, which was a much greater task than it is now. You had to boot up the computer, you had to get permission to get on the computer because you needed parental permission to access the internet. At least I did at 7 or 8 or whatever I was. Just to figure out how to progress in Star Fox Adventures. And it turns out that you need to go to the shopkeeper with enough money and buy the rock candy, which the rock candy didn't look like rock candy. Like, I was 7, I knew what candy looked like, and that was not rock candy. It was a rock. It was just a rock with like a gem in it. I thought it was like some kind of upgrade or key or something. No, it was rock candy. And apparently you needed to buy that rock candy and feed it to the giant statue man who could then teleport you with his fingers. I know, really intuitive. So I'm not gonna sit here and say that the gameplay is super amazing. It was tricky. It was like a mystery. Like you had to try and figure out what to do to go forward. And looking back on it, it's not that hard, but it was just hard enough for me to be frustrated at that age. But I almost kind of enjoyed it. It wasn't like frustrating like other people probably see it. Like they probably saw it as like just busy work in order to get to the main objective. And honestly, like if there was a game of all games that had MacGuffins, and if you're not aware of what a MacGuffin is, it's kind of like an object. You'll probably recognize what it is when I give you a description, but a MacGuffin is essentially an object or a thing or a person that everyone wants that causes the plot to move forward. So like this is like your Infinity Stones for the Avengers, like that's the MacGuffin. Like everyone wants the stones, or whoever has the stones is the coolest person, that's the MacGuffin. But the MacGuffin in this was a lot of it. Sorry, I had a brain fart there. But yeah, there were the spell stones and there were the Krazoas. The spell stones and the Krazoas, and I think there probably was something else you had to collect too. I'm forgetting. But I bet there was something else too that you had to collect. And each of these Krazoas and each one of these spellstones was in such a hard place to get that it was like the entire that was the whole game, was just searching for these MacGuffins and trying to collect them all and then bring them to the Krazoa temple and then freeing crystal so you can get some eyelash fluttering at the end of the game. Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm sorry guys, is the furry shit too much? I like weirding people out with it. So if you're weirded out, it's working. But if you're with me, then stop it. Get some help. Crystal's mine. No, I'm just oh man. No, I joke mostly because this is the game that probably caused the whole furriness in me. Surprise, surprise, I know. But I never considered it to be like furrydom, you know? Or like the furry fandom. Like I never even considered it to be like a sexual thing either. If we're gonna even bring up that argument. But I will admit that that's how it started. And I'm pretty sure Crystal, among a few other characters, Lola Bunny, Pat, and probably a few others that all contributed to the awakening of some individuals on the internet. I was not immune. Actually, that lines up kind of perfectly. If I was like 8 or whatever, maybe a little older when it came out. That makes sense. Anyway, that's a weird direction I didn't plan on taking the podcast. But I figured, you know, talking about the furry game, might as well bring up the furries. It's kind of inevitable before someone in the comments will say, "Hey, are you one of those furries? Gross!" And then, see, that's my power. I'm just gonna segue for just to say this: is that's my secret weapon, Captain. Is that I call myself a furry before you do, because so you know it doesn't hurt my feelings as much. You know, you can't call me anything I haven't already called myself. What you gonna do? Anyway, will I be able to talk a full hour about StarFox Adventures? I feel like I'm running out of things I wanted to talk about. I thought this would be just like a huge topic that I could just go on and on and on about, but I'm struggling here. I'm struggling. We talked about the furry waifu. We talked about the gameplay. We talked about Rare getting their game changed to StarFox when Nintendo got a hold of it. Maybe I just talked too fast. Maybe I should have given this information over a drip, you know, like an IV drip. Maybe I should have taken a little bit more time explaining all this information. That's why I felt earlier I was rushing. Because looking at the recording time, I'm like, I still got like 13 minutes. I got 13 minutes. What am I going to talk about? StarFox Adventures? Holy heck. What the heck? Well, you know, I titled the video. I asked for this, so I guess we'll keep talking about StarFox Adventures. But what should we talk about? I feel like I'm leaving something out that I wanted to leave towards the end, and this is kind of a good time for that, but you know me, in my memory, I just can't remember. We'll talk about the first thing that comes to my mind then. And this is a huge lesson. This is a huge eye-opener. Definitely write notes for the next podcast. 100%. Write notes. I didn't think not having notes this time would be such a struggle, but I am dying here. I am dying. I'm not actually dying. I'm dying in Roblox, maybe. No, I'm dying in StarFox Adventures. Right. Speaking of dying in StarFox Adventures, here's a segue. Remember those Botham dads? Probably not, right? But if you do remember the Botham dads, I always wanted one as a pet. I wonder if I could get an emote or something of a Botham dad. It would just be the most random thing ever, and I don't think anyone would use it ever because no one knows what a Boffin Dad is. But basically, the Boffin Dads apparently were these weird creatures that could give you life? Question mark. I should do a StarFox Adventures lore video. Try and explain all the magic in Dinosaur Planet. That's actually not a bad idea. That might be more entertaining than whatever this is. Yeah, I might make a full video, like over on the Reynard Show YouTube channel about that one day. Actually, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna spend this next 10 minutes of recording to talk about some of my projects, maybe. Which I know I've been keeping very secret, but I've been keeping the concept secret. And now I feel like I'm getting really close to execution. All I need to do is literally train my body to do it. Like, I feel like that's all there is left. Like, I am resolute in spirit. I figured it all out in my mind. Maybe not all of it out in my mind. Like, there's still some academic aspects of this that I need to learn. There's a lot of aspects of mental aspects of YouTubing and content creation and entertaining that I need to learn, but I feel like in terms of like video editing, audio adjustment or audio engineering, story writing, note writing, I've gotten way better at all of these things. So it makes me feel a little bit better about the execution is going to be coming soon, because now I can streamline it a little bit better than before when I was just like, I'm going to do a thing. I have no idea how to do that. I don't know how to do that. How am I going to do that if I say I'm going to do that? And then I made a lot of promises without much of a structure. So I'm hoping to build up that structure. I know I probably talk about this a lot, but honestly, once the structure is in place, and I know that's kind of nebulous to understand, it's not like I'm building like a studio, or I'm not like, well, I sort of am. I'm kind of like making a mobile studio, if you think about it. I'm recording these pretty much anywhere that I go to for the day. But yeah, so let's talk about some projects. One that I'm in particular pretty excited about that I don't think I've told anyone or even mentioned it online yet is my video breakdown of I don't know what to call it. I guess a video breakdown or show breakdown, show review, maybe a review. I don't know what to call it yet. But if you haven't seen it yet, on Netflix there is a show called Happy, and it is fantastic. It is amazing. I fell in love with it. Why? Probably not for the same reasons many others fell in love with it, but I think it was it's a great example of what I want to talk about on the channel later on, going forward. Like I said, like right now I'm trying to do a lot of space stuff on the podcast, but eventually I'm going to try and segue into magic things, because that's what I really want to talk about on these channels. It's just I kind of wanted to save those for my structure, so they're good videos that can stand the test of time. Not something that's just like, oh, I made that when I first started out. Like, it's good, but it's like whatever. I know that's what probably was gonna be anyway. If I keep doing this, I'll keep getting better, and that'll inevitably happen. But I want it to be a good video when it does come out, like good enough, something that I'd be happy with when I start talking about magic, because my perception and my take on magic is totally different from everyone else's, and I feel like there's a great value to sharing that, because I think it's really interesting. So what does this have to do with the show Happy? Well, it does essentially a deep dive, or its whole concept is about tulpas. And if you don't know what that is, I'm making a video on it soon. Talking all about tulpas. Actually, the Happy might be the first video where I officially talk about tulpamancy on the Reynard Show channel. So I'm super excited for that, because tulpamancy is one of my favorite forms of magic. and there's a lot to explain to it, so I don't want to explain it here. I just want to tell you guys right now that I'm excited that it's coming. You know, it's gonna that it's on the storyboard. It's all planned out. I do gotta rewatch it and write notes. I do have that written down on my to-do list. But when I did my first viewing of it, I'm like, oh yeah, we're doing a video on this eventually, because I watched like all of it, like all seasons, and it is so good at explaining what a tulpa is from my perspective that it's going to be a great case study, or like just a great example to point to, because I was struggling with that. I was wondering, how am I going to explain this ancient Buddhistic thought experiment slash magic slash technique? Like, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna put like a bunch of pictures of like ancient monks on there? No, now I got a thing, and it's gonna be Happy. So let me explain Happy a little bit, because I can do that. I'm not sponsored by them or anything. That would be kind of cool, but I'm not. But Happy is all about this ex-cop who's kind of seen some shit, you know, like he's seen a lot of things on the job, and so he's kind of like a grizzled, like, you know, kind of tough cop guy. Like, he's a little bit like McClane, but more humorous. Like, he's more silly, and he's also not as like sober as McClane, like from the Die Hard series. Like, I'm trying to compare the two because they kind of remind me of each other. But yeah, this guy, he's way more drunk all the time, because he's like a fallen hero. Like, he used to be a really good cop, and now he's like a drunk, and he, you know, doesn't do anything. Or actually, he becomes a hitman. But spoilers. That's not really spoilers. That's like the first episode. They introduce you to his new job. But without spoiling too much more, he eventually runs into this flying Pegasus unicorn. Didn't expect that one, did you? Didn't expect that one now, did you? Well, he meets this unicorn Pegasus, or what I and many others in the brony community would say an alicorn. Finds him, and while he's in, coincidentally, an ambulance, so he thinks he's going crazy when he sees it, but it turns out to be quote unquote real. And Happy is the name of the alicorn, of the Pegasus thing, and he introduces himself as Happy, and then he also mentions that his daughter that he didn't know he had was kidnapped. So now the whole story is about, like, he was his daughter's imaginary friend, and she believed her father was going to rescue her, so much so that it pushed her tulpa to her father. And I know I'm using magic words, but like, pushed her imaginary friend, or sent her imaginary friend to go find her father, because he was the only one that can save her in her mind. And then that actually manifests into the character being able to be seen by the cop guy, by the dad. And this sets, you know, the whole adventure, you know, where they're off to go find his daughter that he didn't know he had, and is trusting the word of her imaginary friend that only he can see. It's a really fascinating story, and it escalates in so many fun ways. It is a comedy, so it's the funniest thing in the world, but I can't wait to do a video on it. I think it's going to be fantastic. That's one of the ones I'm pretty excited by. If I'm to talk about some others real quick, I do have the Sea of Thieves Part 2 planned. That's going to be posted like as soon as I can, honestly. But I know that rings kind of hollow, because I've been saying this is like almost a meme at this point, that the Sea of Thieves Part 2 is like never coming out. But I do want to put it out. Like, I do have it recorded now. I just need to edit it. And it is like one of the next things on the list. Another thing that's next on the list is I need to finish the part 2 of the short, my top 10 magic systems, or top 5 magic systems in video games and anime. I didn't really like that video, which is why I didn't work too hard to make the sequel to it right away, but I do want to finish it because I did say I would finish it, and I gotta finish everything I say I'm gonna finish, you know? Like, if I say there's gonna be a part 2 coming, gosh darn it, there's gonna be a part 2 coming, but it might take a year. No, it might take a little while. I hope to get better at that, but a lot of that is just because of my mismanagement of time and trying to figure out these other projects and just like, you know, getting more efficient with everything, you know. And as I get more efficient with things will get a lot cooler. And a lot more precise and a lot more schedulized. And right now I'm still indie. Like, sorry guys, it's just me on this team. So I'm trying everything I can, everything I feel comfortable with. I know there's a lot more I could be doing, honestly. I've been watching some other streamers that go above and beyond the Call of Duty, and I absolutely adore them for that. And I really want to do the same, you know, because it's almost it is inspiring to see some of these streamers do so well with their numbers because of the work and effort that they put in. Like, I've been kind of ashamed of my stream lately, mostly because I feel like I've regressed in a lot of quality aspects. I mean, my audio is still pretty good. I think my audio is pretty good. And also, you know, I've been playing music a lot more. I think that brings up the quality a little bit in a certain dimension. But overall, like, I haven't been doing a whole lot of main content styles. Like, it's like I've been giving you guys peas and carrots, but I haven't given you any meat and potatoes yet, you know? But I assure you, dinner's cooking, and I'll ring that bell when dinner's done. When dinner's ready, I'm ringing that dinner bell. Right now I've been kind of not closed off, but like, I haven't advertised too much. All the views that I'm currently getting are just from Twitch, or from friends and family and stuff like that. But once it gets going, it's gonna get going. And not because, and I'm not saying get going as in it's gonna do really well because I'm a genius. No, well, I mean, that is true, but it's more like it's gonna get going and get better, as in I'm gonna be more efficient. I'm going to be more reliable. I'm gonna be more what's the word? Like, something that would take me all day to edit would take me an hour. You know, like, those are the days I'm waiting for. Like, right now, like today, I tried to do some graphic design project for someone. I don't know if he's listening. If you are listening, thank you for listening, Warlord Gator. But Gator had requested a graphic design project, and I did it within, like, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes to an hour. And I thought it looked pretty good. And when I exported it, it's like I did nothing. Like, all the PNGs were suddenly had like a black box around them, even though they were supposed to be transparent and were in the video editor. The green screen that I used turned back into green screen, even though I keyed it out. I don't know what exactly happened. Like, it had to be somewhere in the export, but I combed the export multiple times, figuring out why it wasn't like publishing the alpha channel, which is what I wanted. And I had all my settings. I don't know. I went through Reddit. I went through the internets, and I just chalked it up to having an older version of Premiere Studio. So I might look into upgrading my Premiere Pro, just because that's a great video editor, honestly. It's the one that I'm learned. So just having, like, I'm using a 2015 version, so having like a 2018, 2019 would probably be light years beyond what I'm currently dealing with and editing with. Just gives me more control over the files, I think. But right now, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. So something that should have taken like 5-10 minutes, because it's only like a 10-second clip of a video, has taken me like all day. It's taken me all day. And I still didn't finish it because I couldn't figure it out, you know? And that's just like the frustrating aspect of all this content creation. and like trying to figure out video editing, and mainly like trying to figure this out on your own, like trying to be self-taught in this regard, it would have been prudent to maybe like try and get hired by some kind of studio, even though I feel like that would be a whole can of worms, but maybe I would learn faster. I don't know. That's more like hindsight. And hindsight's 2020. Unlike this year, which is 2024. Sorry, that was a bad joke. Anyway. So yeah, I've been all this to say that I really do enjoy content creation. I really do enjoy creating these projects for you guys. And it may not look like anything right now, and that's because there isn't much right now. Though I have been getting better at doing shorts. I have a good amount of shorts on the main channel now. More to come, but I really want to get back into doing like main meat kind of main meat and potatoes kind of videos period. Like I did a couple of compilation videos for guys on Twitch. I think that's a good style. I might unlist them. No offense to those guys, but if you haven't downloaded it, if you're listening and you haven't downloaded yours yet and you want it, download it now or just ask me later on and I'll still have it. But I might unlist those just because they don't fall in line with exactly how the channel what's the word, brand kind of wants to go, or maybe I don't know. I'm kind of thinking about this live, but there was something I wanted to do, which was make meme compilations. I might do this in shorts, kind of like the Jack and Daxter ones, but not Jack and Daxter. I think I'm gonna do them with more not necessarily trending things, but more trending things I still like, but not like trending for trending's sake. Like if I don't like it, I probably won't make anything for it. But like I don't know, like I see those Walter White meme edits when my nephew was over. Oh my gosh, guys, my nephew is so silly. He loves Polar Express, so he was watching Polar Express like on repeat this whole like holiday, and he even got a Polar Express train that he could play with, you know, IRL, like a toy. I like how I have to say IRL because like anytime I get something, it's like digital. So I have to specify that's like it's a real train. He didn't get a digital train. But yeah, he got a real train, not a real train, toy train, and he was in love with that thing. But that, yeah, basically, point of the story of me bringing this up is that I thought myself to be a silly uncle and put on some meme edits.
Get us the blazes out of here! Deja vu, I just been in this place before. Higher on the street, and I know it's my time to go. Going new, and the search is a mystery. Standing on my feet, it's so hard when I try to be me. Whoa, deja vu, I just been in this time before. Higher on the beat, and I know it's a place to go.
Of Polar Express. Which you know, included the classic, you know, dank memes. You know, we got you know, drifting Eurobeat. We got you know, hit scans. What are they called? No, hit markers from Call of Duty. You know, you got explosions. You got SpongeBob dancing. Like you got all the kinds of edits you could possibly think of inside the Polar Express, and he was loving it. Oh my gosh! Like even the parts that were a little sus, like when there was a curse word used or like a gun being shown, like everyone in the room was like, Uncle Reynard, what are you doing? And I'm just like, oh, sorry, I haven't watched this one yet, because he kept asking for more and more meme edits, and I only wanted to show the one. So I've only watched one, but he kept asking for more, so I kept putting on different Polar Express meme edits, and I got to just sit there and watch a bunch of meme edits, and they were funny, but like maybe not child appropriate, but they were funny. And it made me think that like that is a great way to build up portfolio as well, is by just making a bunch of meme edits, like just showcase your editing style and maybe even make a potential employer laugh too. I don't know. It might work. It might not work. But I think if like I blurted out earlier, I might do that for shorts. Kind of like the Jack and Daxter ones. Those were Jack and Daxter meme edits. I enjoyed making those a lot. I think those were pretty fun. I tried switching to the lore stuff, but it didn't do as well as like say a Twitch clip. My one Twitch clip from like Lethal Company, and maybe it's because it's Lethal Company and it's a highly trending game, but that clip got 100 and what was it? 1.2 thousand views. And then the previous short was a lore edited short with high edits, and it was only like 83 or whatever. But I do think that's good for my other videos of that same class, of that same style. So I'm still testing the waters with that, but it just blew my mind that I'm like, oh, this is why people trend chase. This is why people trend chase, because you just get instant views, like immediately. It's insane. And I think I might utilize this, but I'm gonna do it smartly. Like I don't want to be shoehorned. I don't want to, or not shoehorned. I don't want to be pigeonholed. I don't want to be stuck onto one thing. So I'm probably gonna just like make a video about something trending, and then just make something that no one's heard about, like something that I like. I don't know how that's gonna go exactly. I think I know generally how it's gonna go. The videos I want to make are gonna go be low views, and the trending videos are gonna be high views. But I don't know. We're all experimenting here. Maybe I'll trash the idea once I figure out or think of something better. But that's what I'm thinking right now. Maybe we'll do some funny meme edits of popular TV shows and movies and stuff like that in this next year of 2024. Something I want to leave on maybe, because what are we at? We're at 1 hour and 10 minutes recording. I think that might even out after editing some of the stuff. This video might come out on Thursday. Is that okay, guys? Can this video come out on Thursday, not Wednesday? That's fine. You know, I'm gonna say that's fine because I'm the uploader and you guys actually have no choice in the matter. Well, I'm gonna, like the moment I hit done here, I'm probably gonna just go home because it is past my clock out time. But I do want to leave with this last final thought. Yesterday, last year, the start of 2023, I made a New Year's resolution on the Discord saying that I wanted to bring you guys more content. And depending on your perception, I either failed in that or have fulfilled that. One could say I failed that because I haven't been posting pretty much anything, or I haven't posted hardly anything in 2023. It was a lot of it was just up and towards the end here in like November, December and stuff is when I really started posting a lot more. But there was like a huge gap. There was like an 8, 9, 10 month gap of just like no uploads on the YouTube channel. But granted, this is the other side of the coin that I was talking about, is that a lot of that time that I was using, that was when I started getting serious. That's when I promised I was going to start getting serious so I can get more content out to you guys. I didn't want to just be like a one stream a week kind of guy. And I also didn't really want to be a constant streamer either. So I figured this would be a good middle ground. But all that I've learned in 2023 will be used in 2024. It will not go to waste. Everything that I learned in 2023 will help me going forward and has helped me going forward. A lot of the videos that I put out near the end of 2023, the quality difference between that and my first uploads, like go look at my impressions video again. Like just go check that. Just look at the green screen. I know I haven't published anything with green screen in a little while, but I have a lot of stuff filmed already on green screen or blue screen now. But it looks so much better. And I just learned today another technique if I upgrade my Premiere Pro, which I have not yet. But if I upgrade my Premiere Pro, I'll have another way of making my green screen, blue screen look that much better. But if you look at my impressions video again, oh my gosh. It's so bad. It's so bad. I basically just maxed out feathering and it just leaves this like green cloud all around me. It's really bad. The quality is horrible, but I had fun making those. I do have an impressions 2 recorded that I need to edit. That should be coming out soon as well. Let's see what else. I think that's all I really wanted to leave on was that I am working on things. I didn't quit. I didn't get burnt out. I didn't, all the excuses under the sun, I'm not going to use them. Other than the fact that I probably should have uploaded something is probably my excuse. But other than that, or my only complaint for myself, I don't know. But I probably should have posted something. I probably should have posted like Twitch clips or something like that, because I was streaming that whole time, every Friday of 2023, just about, give or take some skips. But yeah, that's all I'm really trying to say, is that good things are coming on the Reynard show. I'm still working on things, and even if they're shit, even if they're real bad, they're gonna get better, and that's what gives me hope. So if you like me, I hope that gives you hope, because I know it could be heartbreaking if you find a content creator you like and you think they can do really good, like they're starting out and then they just burn out immediately and they disappear, and then you hardly talk and you never talk to them again, and you never see them around, they never post anything. Maybe you'll see them log on to Steam or something like that. But it's just sad, just so you know, that's not me. I'm still here. I'm just infrequent. Like a fox. Sometimes I poke my head out of the den every now and then. But yeah. Rest assured, I got content planned for 2024, and I really do hope I can trust myself into keeping a schedule. That's one of my biggest struggles. It's trying to conform real life with this new hobby. And it would be really cool if, one day, quote unquote, one day, the dream here, the hope that one day I'll be able to do this full time, in some capacity, in some regard, in some shape, so I can, do this more and do this more often. Exactly what that is, I'm not entirely sure. I'm still a little amorphous myself, but I think I'm solidifying into like storytelling. A lot of that's going to be lore talk, but I want to focus on storytelling and like education and like humor, education, and storytelling. Those are going to be like the trinity of the Reynard show. Those are going to be my main themes going forward. If I'm going to teach you something, I want to make you laugh while you're learning it. Like I have a bunch of THC videos that I want to release, but I want to make them kind of fun. Maybe they won't be fun because it can be hard to make some things fun, but I'll try my best. But yeah, like if I'm ever going to be lecturing you guys, I don't want to be just like lecturing you like, like I'm the teacher, you're the student, listen to my words for they are perfect. And like, no, I want to make it a little fun because like, those are the kinds of teachers I always, listened to or trusted or believed in, were the teachers that were not so serious all the time. Like everyone knows that really angry teacher, that really angry teacher in high school that like really did know their stuff. Like they could have been a math whiz, but they were just angry and hated talking to people and just like punished you all the time for like existing. So like no one's gonna learn math that way, No one's gonna be interested enough. But if you got a fun teacher, like even math could be fun. And that's spoken from someone who absolutely refuses to do math. I hate math. Math is horrible. You'll never have a calculator everywhere you go, they said. Well, here I am, 2024, with a computer that I could pull up a calculator and my phone if my computer suddenly burst into flames. And if my phone and computer suddenly burst into flames, I'm pretty sure I could go use that microwave that I'm looking at over there and do some kind of calculation that I need, because everything that you need is arithmetic. You don't even need too many of. I'm going on a rant. I'm going on a rant. I wanted to leave work, so we're gonna leave work, guys. Sorry for the weird episode. Half of it was StarFox Adventures. The other half was just me talking about my projects and things. But that's kind of the point of these podcasts too, is I kind of want to keep you guys informed while also talking about like games I like. Well, we're also looking into getting some guests on the show as well, and when there's a guest, we'll probably do webcams. So that might be a new format to the TheReyCast. But yeah, I apologize to anyone who actually wanted to listen to StarFox Adventures. It probably was horrendous with how much I was interrupting myself and forgetting and standing up to go check. It's probably riddled with cuts. Oh, this episode wasn't the best, but just like how StarFox Adventures wasn't the best, it still had a little good in there, you know? Still a little good. Anyway, I'll catch you guys later. Have a good one. And remember... wait, that's not my line. I almost stole Penguins. Can't do that. Remember to stay mortal. No. Stay immortal. No. Become immortal. I need to work on these outros. Anyway, goodbye. Oh, and Happy New Year.